Welcome to Trial Site News and our show, The Watchlist Series. For our show today, we take a closer look at an obscure medical practice in Colombia, where those who are seeking to reverse the aging process are invited to participate in a Phase 1 gene therapy clinical trial. Seeking 5 patients, the American-based biotech sponsoring the study seeks to expedite the clinical trials process by avoiding FDA jurisdictional rules and guidance. The participants must pay $1 million to join the study. The experimental gene therapy premise is to extend one's telomeres to prevent, delay, or even reverse aging. So first things first, what is a telomere exactly, and why is it relevant? Well, it is a kind of structure that actually caps the tips of chromosomes and serves to prevent the genetic material inside from fraying. As telomeres grow shorter each time a cell divides, the structures reach a critical length and cells stop dividing or expire, according to a Stanford study. Now, in that study, it was reported that telomeres represents a form of internal clock that make it hard to keep most cells growing in a laboratory for more than a few cell doublings. Now, apparently the study uncovered a method to lengthen human telomeres up to 1,000 nucleotides, hence turning back the internal clock in these cells by the equivalent of many years of human life, stated Helen Blau, PhD and director of Stanford's Baxter Laboratory for Stem Cell Biology. So now back to the study. The study's sponsor, Kansas City-based startup biotech venture called Libella Gene Therapeutics, is enrolling 5 patients to participate in this Phase 1 controversial trial using gene therapy to express active telomeres. During the study, the Colombian principal investigator, a physician named Winston Pernet, MD, will treat subjects with HTERT delivered via transduction using AAV. Now, the goal of the study is to extend the telomeres to prevent, delay, or even reverse aging, as reported in clinicaltrials.gov. So the study commenced back in October 2019 and is planned for completion in January of 2021. Now, first, the biotech sponsor, the clinical trial, is backed by some brilliant people. Now, William Andrews has spent a good deal of his professional life working hard to ultimately defeat the aging process. Now, this is a noble goal. I mean, what if someday it would be possible for all of us, or at least those that could have access to such treatment, could live extra long? Now, perhaps some would, after say 80 or 90 years, be ready to go to the next phase in the bigger universal story, but some will undoubtedly want to hang around and keep it going here on this earth. Now, it is pretty accepted practice that most of the time the clinical trial sponsor covers the costs of the patient for a clinical trial. Now, in this case, the sponsors are asking the patients to subsidize this highly experimental drug, which is going to be $1 million, and that's a lot of money. Now, we don't care who you are. We found it quite odd that as Trial Site News looked into the clinical investigative site, we didn't find a high-end 5-star light Colombian hospital with 5-star hotel-like accommodations, but rather an obscure, rather plain, small-looking Medio clinic. Now, this is strange. Now, moreover, when reviewing the Colombian's clinic website, we found a number of complaints by employees that the owner doesn't pay his employees on time, and in some cases, not at all. Now, why is this? Well, we encourage any sponsor charging $1 million for a brief gene therapy-based study to offer transparency, which severely lacks in this current situation. So Trial Site News Research did an extensive search into the goings-on of the clinical investigative site. IPS Arsalud SAS, again appearing to be a small, relatively obscure site that, if the Facebook complaints from employees are correct, the owners are somewhat shady, as they are not paying their employees. That's not a good sign, as we mentioned earlier. The owner of the clinic is Mr. Jose Luis Mallorca. Now, Trial Site News, on the one hand, is thankful for individuals such as William Zanders and Jeff Marthas. After all, these brilliant researchers and clinicians make a great fit and truly represent the American dream in many ways. They do push the envelope of science, and we believe that this has to be done for progress to be had. Now, on the other hand, though, something just doesn't feel right here. And here at Trial Site News, first and foremost, we look after and report for the patient. For our patients that want to take on aging and that have the means, we implore them to be careful. We don't think that this study should be evading FDA jurisdiction. We don't feel that $1 million per patient study should be held at an indiscriminate, obscure, and not very nice looking small medical clinic with an investigator that no one has ever heard of. Now, in keeping with the spirit of transparency in clinical trials, we urge tremendous caution with this study, and we will be keeping you posted on this story as it continues to update. From Trial Site News, I'm Adrian, and this is the Watch List series.